I've been saying the same 6 words for 24 years. I was in the bathroom. I said it to the cops. I said it to the judge. I said it to the jury. I said it to 11 different appeal boards. Same 6 words, same answer every time. Denied. My name is James Edward Booker. I'm 72 years old. Been in the Indiana state system for 24 years now for a murder I did not commit. Look at these hands. You know what these hands did for 30 years? They fixed engines, transmissions, timing belts, brake rotors. I could tell you what was wrong with your car just by listening to it idle for 10 seconds. See that? That black in the creases? That's grease. 20 years of engine grease that don't come off. Prison soap, bleach, don't matter. It's in there. These hands built a business. They never hurt nobody. But according to the state of Indiana, these hands killed a man in a bar on November 14th, 2001. Me and Terry had history. I ain't gonna pretend we didn't. But history ain't murder. I opened Booker's Auto Repair in 1985. Broadway Ave, Gary, Indiana. Little shop, 2 bays, used lift I bought off a guy in Hammond for $400, and a carburetor rebuild. 16 years I ran that shop. 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to whenever the last car was done. You know how it is in Gary. People ain't got money for the dealership. They come to you, and you treat them right. They come back. They tell their people. I had regulars. Mrs. Delgado brought her Buick every spring. Same rattle in the dash, same $40 fix. Earl from the barbershop next door, he'd bring me coffee at 7:15 every morning. Black, 2 sugars, and I'd check his oil every Friday for free. That's how it worked on Broadway. You look out for your people. Loretta, that's my wife, was my wife. She did the books, couldn't fix a flat tire to save her life, but she could tell you every penny that shop made and spent going back to 1987. She kept these green ledger books, 3 of them. You know, the kind with the columns? She wrote everything in pencil because she said ink was too permanent for numbers that change. Marcus and Keisha, my kids, twins, they used to come to the shop after school. Marcus would hand me tools, always the wrong one first, then the right one, every time. Like a little game we had. Keisha would sit on the tire stack in the corner doing homework and asking me questions about everything. Daddy, why do engines need oil? Daddy, how come that car is louder than that car? That was my life, a shop, a wife, 2 kids who thought their daddy could fix anything. And one night in a bar took all of it. November 14th, 2001, a Wednesday. I know it was Wednesday because Wednesday was the day I closed the shop early, 4 p.m. instead of 6. Only day of the week I'd go out. I went to Roscoe's, little bar on 5th and Madison. Went there maybe twice a month. Had a Bud Light and watched whatever game was on. That night I think it was a Pacers game. Pacers and somebody. I don't remember who they were playing, but I remember the Pacers were losing. Terry Rawlins was there. He was there when I walked in, sitting at the bar. Now Terry owed me $3,000. $3,000 for a transmission rebuild on his Dodge Ram. I did the work in September. He kept saying he'd pay. September became October. October became November. So yeah, I said something. I sat down 2 stools from him. And I said, Terry, you gonna pay me for that truck or what? And he said, go to hell, James. I'll pay you when I pay you. We had words. You know, back and forth. Nothing crazy, nothing loud. The bartender didn't even look up. Just 2 guys going at it the way men do when one of them owes money. Then I went to the bathroom. I got up. I walked past the pool table. I went into the bathroom, closed the door. 20 feet from where Terry was sitting, 20 feet and a closed door. I was taking a leak when I heard it. One pop, not loud like you think, muffled like you. Like somebody dropped a heavy book on a table, then yelling, a woman screaming, glass breaking. I came out. Terry was on the floor. There was blood on the bar rail. People were running. Some girl, I didn't know her, she was screaming and pointing at the front door. Pointing at the front door, like somebody had just run out. I didn't even know he was shot until I saw the blood. I just stood there, like an idiot. I just stood there in the bathroom doorway, with my hands wet because the towel dispenser was broken and I'd wiped them on my jeans. The cops came. 20 minutes. They talked to people. They talked to me. I told them I was in the bathroom. I told them what I heard. I told them about the girl pointing at the door. And you know what they wrote down? Suspect had prior dispute with victim. That's it. That's what mattered to them. Not the girl, not the bathroom, not the 20 feet, the dispute. $3,000 turned me into a murder suspect. I didn't do it. Didn't do. I was in the bathroom when that gun went off. And 2 people in that bar saw me walk out after the shot. But my lawyer, public defender, guy named Novak, he had 43 cases that month. 43. He looked at the 2 witness statements, looked at me, and said, "They're friends of yours, James. Prosecution will tear that apart. It won't hold up. They were friends of mine. Yeah, Eddie Campbell and Darnell Price. I'd known them 15 years. Darnell's car I'd been fixing since '89. And because they knew me, because they had the bad luck of knowing me, their eyes didn't count. Since when does knowing somebody make you blind? That was 24 years ago. You know what 24 years costs when you ain't supposed to be here? Everything. It costs everything. The shop went first. Loretta tried. I'll give her that. She tried to run it alone. But she wasn't a mechanic. And the regulars, you know, they loved Loretta. But they needed their cars fixed. She kept it open 8 months. Then she sold the lift, sold the tools, sold everything I'd built in 16 years for $6,200 to a guy who turned it into a cell phone store. 16 years of work, $6,200. Then Loretta, year 8, she sent me a letter. Not even a visit. A letter. 3 pages in that handwriting I knew better than my own. She said, "I can't raise these kids waiting for a ghost, James. I can't do it. I need somebody who's here." Ghost. She called me a ghost. And she was right. What am I to my kids from in here? A voice on the phone once a week. A face behind glass once a month if they bother to drive up. I'm not a father. I'm a memory of one. She married a guy named Dennis. Works at the post office. Drives a Nissan Altima. I know what kind of car he drives because my daughter told me. My daughter told me what kind of car the man who replaced me drives. And Marcus. Marcus was 6 when they took me. 6 years old. He used to hand me wrenches in the shop. Always the wrong one first. He came to see me until he was about 14. Then one visit he sat down, wouldn't look at me, and said, "The kids at school know, Dad. They know what you did." And I said, "Marcus, I didn't do anything." And he looked at me with these eyes, you know, these eyes that used to light up when I lift him onto the hood of a car. And he said, "Then how come you're in here?" What do you say to that? How do you explain the justice system to a 14-year-old boy who just wants his daddy to not be a murderer? He never came back. 10 years now. I don't know where he lives. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's got kids. My son might have kids, and I don't know about it. I didn't do it. I was standing in a bathroom with wet hands when that gun went off. And my boy grew up thinking his father was a killer. And for what? For what? My mama died in 2016. Kidney failure. Keisha called me from the hospital. She held the phone up to Mama's ear and I said, "Mama, it's James. I'm here, Mama. I'm right here." But I wasn't there. I was 200 miles away in a cell. And she died with a phone on her pillow instead of her son holding her hand. Keisha still comes. Once a year. 3-hour drive from Indianapolis. She's the only one left. She walks in and she looks just like Loretta did in 1985. And it breaks something in me every single time. Let me tell you what the jury never heard. Because my lawyer with his 43 cases didn't think it mattered. Number 1, no gunshot residue test. They swabbed Terry's clothes, They swabbed the bar. They never swabbed my hands. You want to know if a man fired a gun? You test his hands. It's the first thing you do. They didn't do it. Nobody can tell me why. Number 2, Eddie Campbell and Darnell Price gave sworn statements the night of the shooting. Eddie said he saw me walk out of the bathroom after the shot. Darnell said the same thing. 2 men. Two statements. Same story. My lawyer never put them on the stand, never. Because they knew me. Because they were my friends. You know what the prosecution's case was? A $3,000 debt, and the defendant was present at the scene. That's it. No weapon. They never found the gun. No fingerprints on anything. No witness who saw me pull a trigger. A debt and a location, that's what 30 years of my life is built on. And number 3, the girl, the one pointing at the front door, screaming, pointing at somebody running out. Nobody ever found her. Nobody ever looked. You know why? Because by the time the detectives showed up, they already had me. They had a black man with a motive sitting right there. Why go looking for a girl nobody wrote down when you've already got your guy? I'm a mechanic. I know how things work. When a car won't start, you don't guess. You test. You check the battery. You check the starter. You check the fuel pump. You follow the evidence to the problem. You don't look at the car and say, well, it's a Ford. Fords break down, must be the engine. That's not how it works, but that's how they did it to me. They looked at me and said, he had a motive. He was there. Must be him. I used to be angry every minute of every day. First 5 years, I'd lay in that bunk and shake, just shake, because the rage had nowhere to go. I'd write letters to the judge, to the DA, to the governor, to anybody whose name I could find. Pages and pages. I was in the bathroom, test my hands, call the witnesses, find the girl. Same words, same 6 words dressed up different ways. After a while, the letters stopped coming back. Not denied, just nothing. Like I was shouting into a hole in the ground. You want to know what 24 years of anger does to a man? It eats you. From the inside out. Like rust on a frame rail. You don't see it happening. You just wake up one morning and the whole thing is hollow. The metal looks fine on the outside, but you tap it and your finger goes right through. That's me. I look like a man. I talk like a man. But inside, hollow. The anger ate everything. My patience, my hope, my ability to sit across from my daughter without grinding my teeth so hard she can hear it. I've been so angry for so long that I forgot what I was angry for. I was angry because I wanted my life back. But my life is gone now. The shop is gone. Loretta is gone. Marcus is gone. Mama is gone. Ain't nothing left to be angry for. And that's worse than the anger. Because at least the anger was something. Now there's just this. I didn't do it. I was in the bathroom. I had wet hands and a broken towel dispenser and a Pacers game I'll never see the end of. And somewhere out there, somebody walked out the front door of Roscoe's bar with a gun. And they've been free for 24 years. And I've been in here saying the same 6 words to walls that don't listen. Maybe you'll listen. I just want to go home and fix a car. That's all I ever wanted.